Hey, good morning, everybody. This is John Palmer, Dutch Speed Selling. This is Raging Verbalist number 327. For those who are keeping track, why wouldn't you be keeping track? Of course, you are. Glad that you're back if you're a returner. And if you're new, welcome. I talk about a variety of topics. Don't veer much into politics. Sometimes I do, but today is not that case. Hopefully, you're going to learn a lot. You can catch me on YouTube. Hit the like and subscribe if you want to be annoyed. Hit the notification. Come up on every Friday. Also have a Facebook group called Position to Win book, Position to Win book. Shameless plug, of course, it's the book. Most businesses fail in the first 5 minutes. It just takes them 3 to 5 years to realize it. Position to Win. Okay, so let's talk about my topic today, which is Walmart versus Amazon, and it's a big topic. It's something I've been thinking about a lot. So these are a battle of the titans out there, and they want your internet dollars, they want your retail dollars, they want your spending dollars, they want it all, don't they? And that's who wouldn't want to do that? So these two titans have been battling it out over time. Now I'm going to give you my own personal history and give you some good, the bad, and the ugly, and some of the things that I've run into recently and what has worked and what hasn't worked, and some of the things that are annoying because that's what the Raging Verbalist is about. Things that piss me off, things that don't work the way they should, things that should be fixed. Are you listening out there? Hey guys, Jeff, get off of the yacht, fix some stuff. Anyway, I've been an Amazon customer since 1998. That's as farthest back I can go back and find out. Amazon doesn't provide that easily. When I asked Perplexity AI, how do I find this out? They gave me this whole thing about going back and finding my original email. I mean, like I can find an email from 98. I mean, what am I, some kind of forensic somebody? No, I can't figure that out. But anyway, they gave me a hint of how to look for it, but I found 1998 was when the first orders started showing up, and Amazon had them. So I give them kudos and credit for that. Now, Amazon, for the most part, was a place that I bought books and audio and videos, DVDs. Remember those? Blu-rays, CDs. I know it's a time that went by and all of that. And that was probably pretty much what I did. I bought that kind of stuff. I was, and then a day in my life changed that forever. And you can thank a failed chain, Kmart, because Kmart sold a cleaner that my wife uses every single day on our glass cooktop. And no, it isn't a portable, it's built into my counter. And she uses it religiously, which has kept this thing really nice and kept it in good repair. And we went there, and Kmart was a place that usually would sell it. So, I mean, we'd make our trek to Kmart, buy a bottle or two. And sure enough, they didn't have it, boo hiss. And, it was a typical Kmart. And so I asked somebody, and they went, I don't know. And who knows? We don't know why we don't have it. So, she said, well, maybe we should go try Target or try, where else could we go? And I said, well, let's go look at Amazon. I know some of you are going to say, geez, John, that wasn't that big a deal. It was, because again, it is the possible. It's what you're thinking it can do. Amazon, whatever you start with somebody, that's what you think about, right? If that's what you got in your head, that's your bias. That's what blends in there. That's what positioning is all about, is bias. So I went, okay, well, all right, so maybe Amazon has it. Sure enough, they had it. We bought a case of 6 bottles of this stuff, which turned out to be a much better price than we were getting at Kmart. So it wasn't price that I was really concerned about. It was availability and the hassle factor. Who wants to drive here, there, and everywhere? That was a very big change, because then whenever we were going to buy anything, I would check Amazon first, even, not going. I looked at, like, Home Depot even started losing business to Amazon for me. No, Amazon isn't quite like Home Depot, but Home Depot has its own quirks, but we're not talking about them today. We're talking about Walmart and Amazon. And it was pretty interesting. So that was the case. Now, I've been an Amazon Prime member for a very long time. Now, they have to thank, I don't know if they will, but they have to thank Costco, because Costco membership, I've been a Costco, it was Price Club before it became Costco for me. And I've hit 40 years of buying and paying for memberships at Costco. And I go to Costco on a very regular basis. Now, the point of it is that since I was already a member mindset buyer, I said, okay, I'm going to pay money for this, and I'm going to be going out and doing this thing. Now, away we go. So I started doing that, and that actually helped me get my head wrapped around, yeah, I understand what Prime is worth if I'm buying enough stuff. And I did. And we bought stuff. And then, my wife's a voracious reader. I'm a voracious reader. I bought her first Kindle. She loved it because she would, buy physical books from Amazon. And then she'd be reading and she'd be reading in bed and damn thing would fall and hit her in the head and wake her up. At least the, Kindle was smaller and thinner and all that. Now we don't buy Kindles anymore. We buy Kindle books because read them on the phone, read them on the tablet. So, well, maybe we'll buy a Kindle someday again. Don't know. But buying into Prime changed things even more because there's no cost to ship. I mean, there is a cost to somebody, but it wasn't to me. So we started buying more and more things. Now, there are things that you can't really buy in Amazon, things that we need. And we needed in particular, since we have cats, we would buy cat food and cat food at Walmart because, really, Costco, you're down to one item. And, I don't know if you've ever had cats. Cats are not like dogs, right? So dogs are like, hey, food, eat, and that's what the process is. Cats are like, well, I'm not quite sure about that. Is that really meet my yeah, cuisine that I want? So started going to we started going to Walmart, and I was buying cat food at Walmart. Now the only downside of it is that if you went to a Walmart and it was picked over because of course cat people figured out that was the cheapest place to buy it. I had long since abandoned PetSmart and Petco and all of those guys, primarily because they couldn't match the pricing. Pricing became the key factor. So Walmart was okay, but the store experiences were a little mixed. Is that a nice way to say it? Sometimes they had stuff, sometimes they didn't. So it was hit and miss. And I get this promotional thing from Walmart about their version of Prime. And I'm thinking, well, I mean, will this work? And frankly, has worked out really well because I started buying things on Walmart that I was going to buy anyway. Started getting things, and I'd buy it. It was put in an order in the morning, and it would show up. Started even buying things that I was going to go buy from a supermarket, and they started losing business to Walmart. And Walmart has really become that way to do that. Now I said, okay, now let's expand it, right? Maybe I can, I don't have to have that Kmart moment. Maybe let's expand it. So let me tell you what doesn't work on Walmart, which is why we're talking about Walmart versus Amazon. What doesn't work on Walmart is that they pop up with this damn app and they tell me all the cool things I can buy. So I found some clothes that I was going to buy, some, basically sweatpants or whatever the heck it was. And I went, man, that's a great deal. It was one of their kind of, super deal things. So I sat there and said, okay, I want to buy these from the app. And I'm like going, all right, Walmart, come on home, bring it down. And what happened is that since this was a third party seller through Walmart, is that the shipping then shows up and the shipping was ridiculous compared to what I was expecting. Didn't buy it there. Well, that was one strike against Walmart, which is, see, if I'm doing it through Amazon. Now, I understand I buy books from Amazon that are not readily available, from Amazon warehouses. So they charge me a shipping charge, but I know all of that. But Walmart didn't have that. And it happened more than once. So I don't buy those things from Walmart at all. By the way, I ended up buying what turned out to be sweatpants. I bought them from Amazon. And yes, I bought the brand I wanted. I bought the color I wanted, all of that. But then a funny thing happened, which is my wife, because we have two Amazon Primes. My wife has one, I have one. Okay, separate those things out. Got it. We only have one Walmart version of their Prime, whatever the hell they even call it, because I can't even remember what it is, even for this. And I go there, and my wife says, hey, I want to buy these placemats. I want to buy these placemats. So she says, why don't you buy them through yours? Because that way we won't have to pay for the shipping the same way. Well, sure enough, I said, why not? She goes, well, log into your account. Well, I do it on the phone. They don't have an easy way to share what I'm my wife, we looked for it. I couldn't find it. If it's out there, Walmart, call me or send me a way to do it. But I wanted to just hit a button and say, share this, send it to my phone, and then I could have bought it. Well, we typed in the whole name, we did all that stuff, couldn't find the exact same item. So she ended up buying it through hers. We didn't save on the shipping. Wasn't a ton of dough, but that doesn't work. So bad. Walmart bad in that regard because if you can't easily move things around and send them to people, then you know what? If I see something really cool on Walmart or something really practical on Walmart that I want to send to a friend or a client or whatever, ain't no easy way to do it that I found. And it didn't really work out the way I thought it would. So there you go. So the conclusion is this. Walmart has some work to do to catch up to Amazon. Amazon is the king of this. And don't get me wrong, I'm still going to keep buying cat food and other things from Walmart. But I'm going to tell you right now that this is a giant mistake on Walmart's part. Make it easier for me to ship stuff around. Now, Amazon isn't easy either, right? I don't, but it's easier. Someday it will all be where, if I want to send this off to whoever, I can just go, hey, you should buy this and go click this and away it goes. Maybe I've just given $1 million idea away. The thing that you want to learn is that you don't want to make those mistakes in your business. And if you don't, you want to go check out my book. Most businesses fail in the first 5 minutes. It just takes them 3 to 5 years to realize that position to win. Go to any bookseller, Amazon. Okay. So if you want to go pick up my book, most businesses fail in the first 5 minutes. It just takes 3 to 5 years to realize that position to win. Go to Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, wherever books are sold, you can actually go get a physical copy. You can also get a physical copy by going to positiontowinbook.com, positiontowinbook.com. Check it out there. Also, you can get it digitally. You can get it from Kindle or Nook or Apple iBooks. And with that, all I can say is that these Battle of Titans are going to continue to go on. Happy shopping out there. I will continue to keep you apprised of these things. But more importantly, watch for these trends because I believe that internet buyers are going to be more particular than ever before because guess what? They have learned that their expectations are going up and piss them off and they'll go away. And until then, this has been John Palman Dutch, Dr. Speed Sign, the Raging Verbalist. I've been here for 326, now 327. Catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.